Mina, which was the team of the year?
For me, it was the Houston Astros because of what they meant to that city this year. You know, had been through the hurricane, going through all of that, having them bring home that first championship, and what they meant to baseball. I mean, this is a team that was dominant from start to finish, but also showed us a new way to rebuild in baseball. We talk about the Sixers and the Browns and their foibles. This is a team that combined analytics, scouting, tanking, and put together the perfect game plan, and it worked, and they're going to change baseball for forever as a result.
Yeah, Houston, I think the Astros was a fun story, but the team of the year for me has to be Golden State Warriors. Like, when else have you seen two current MVPs currently in their prime on the same roster? You also throw Draymond Green in there, who may be the NBA's most versatile and underappreciated player. And then you got JaVale McGee, who is just one of my personal favorite players to have on the team. This team has been fun, dominant. They've been unafraid to mix it up in the social media, those sorts of things that normally great teams don't do. And they even have Steve Kerr on top of it, who's been through some health issues, but has been on the forefront of speaking out on social issues in a way that you don't often see coaches not named Greg Popovich do. So I love this team. It's been very fun to watch them grow and watch them win. It's been fun to watch Kevin Durant kind of turn to the bad guy and aggressively go after his detractors. So they've been the team of the year. They may be one of the best teams of all time. So it's hard for me to not name them.
I'm sorry, did you really just shout out JaVale McGee as one of the reasons
I love
why
JaVale.
the Warriors are your team of the year?
He's the best.
That's fine, the Warriors. The problem is that it's a little bit old news for me.
Well, guys, we gave you some options there to choose from. Not the case on this next one. Many exciting performances this year. We're opening it up to all comers, Dom. Which one was the best of all the performances in 2017?
Easy. Mayweather-McGregor. Mac was the best thing of 2017. Their performance it wasn't just an in-the-ring performance, which was surprisingly more compelling of a fight than I would have thought it was, but it was a performance that took place throughout the course of months leading up to it. Like, you wouldn't have imagined that this fight could have ever taken place a year ago or 2 years ago, but Mayweather and McGregor made it happen, and we were all riveted during a very slow sports time with what was the next thing they were going to do at the press conference. We were riveted by how the fight actually went. It was a fun, exciting performance. I know that it wasn't perfect for boxing, but it was perfect for America. It was a sideshow that we needed and we appreciated, and it was an unexpected, amazing performance, and it kind of encapsulates 2017 in a way that I don't know that I'm proud of, but I enjoyed.
I was going to say, if you interpret performance in a different sense from athletic performance and focus on the artifice side of it and it being a microcosm for America and some of the problems, and sure, you could choose Mayweather McGregor. I'm going to go with athletic performance here and stay true to the category. And I'm going to go very recent. Week 16, Todd Gurley, 276 yards against the Titans. First player to top 100 rushing and 150 receiving since Herschel Walker in 1986. He is a marvel. This vaulted him into the MVP conversation. I do not believe he is an MVP, but he is doing things that we have not seen done in a very long time in the NFL.
All right, thank you for giving us those qualifications.
The O-line doesn't get enough credit for that.
Well, now we know where you stand when it comes to the MVP race. Earlier, I was a little confused about what everybody was considering qualification/resume. We did have some great games this year as well. We already mentioned the Patriots comeback in the Super Bowl. Of course, you had Clemson knocking off Alabama in the national championship game. And who could forget Game 5 of the World Series? Dom, best game for you this past year?
I mean, it was the Super Bowl, and I think that it may be. I was at the game, and I understand that people would argue that it was not a great game throughout, but it was a fun game throughout, and it was unprecedented. There's Hightower making the play of the game with that sack. That game was an unprecedented comeback on the biggest stage. Look at all these iconic plays that we will never forget. Like, that is a standout performance for me, something that we may never see again. And I went into the game expecting the Falcons to win, and I was there, having been around football my whole life and played in football. Like, there are very few times where I actually, my heartbeat increases and I feel like a fan. And that game being there, it brought something out of me that I didn't expect, that I haven't seen in myself since I was 16. So it was enjoyable. I'm sure the city of Atlanta hated it, but for the rest of the country, it was kind of cool to watch.
Enjoyable for some people. I mean, the Super Bowl was an incredible game, but it was kind of like watching a car crash in slow motion for a lot of it. A game that I personally found more enjoyable just in terms of the riveting back and forth was Game 5. I mean, 3 comebacks, lighting up Clayton Kershaw. This is what baseball can and should be at its best. It was absolutely riveting. It was nonstop entertainment. There were so many incredible plays. If we got a game like this in every World Series, we would just be so blessed.
Yeah, but it's still baseball.
Boo.
I mean, football is better. It's the biggest game in all of America every year is the Super Bowl. And we had one of the most amazing comebacks in the history of the Super Bowl on the biggest stage.
Yes.
It wasn't even a Game 7, which you're talking about. Like, the Super Bowl is always a Game 7, and it was baseball, which is not football. I mean, it's just true. Sorry, Mina.
And I think you could argue, guys, that when anybody sees the combination of 3 and 28, they know exactly what you're talking about. That's the
true.
impression that game has left on sports fans.